So if you're still getting a drink, take your time, you can wander around. But I figured it's as good a time as any to get started. So, hello. I'm Gianna Jacobson, for those of you who don't know me. And I'm thrilled and amazed to welcome so many people to this celebration of the 5th issue of December's Second Life. Many of you are by now familiar with the story of December's iconic past, its unfortunate demise in the 80s, and its resurrection in 2013. When we gathered almost 2 years ago to celebrate our first issue, the revival issue as it's been dubbed, all of our energy up until then had been directed to just that single point, revival. And then all of a sudden there we were, almost overnight it seemed like, we were revived. And then for the first time we had to look ahead, beyond revival, and at whatever we determined would come next. So we've come a long way in 2 short years. Last Monday, we sent out 992 copies of the new issue, including 38 that went to people in 15 countries, including Nigeria, Norway, New Zealand, and Cambodia. We read more than 3,000 submissions of poetry and prose, and we published the work of 171 writers and 15 artists. This is our 4th celebration in St. Louis, and we've taken our show on the road and hosted readings in New York, Chicago, Seattle, Washington, D.C., Minneapolis, and Los Angeles. And 2 weeks from now, we'll be in Portland, Oregon. We're now looking forward strategically and enthusiastically about our ideas for December's future. In fact, we're frequently known to say, we've got to stop having ideas. We certainly wouldn't be where we are without an incredible amount of support and just flat-out help. So I hope you'll indulge me as I take just a couple of minutes to publicly thank some of the people who have been instrumental in our progress. First, I really want to thank Jazz St. Louis for providing us with this incredible and perfect venue to be together today. And Carrie's back there in the booth for making every detail happen, and to Craig Kaminer for recognizing the connection between our organizations and making the introduction. We are really grateful to the Missouri Humanities Council for providing the funds to support this event specifically, which enables us to hold an event like this and make it open to the public. Support from the Whitaker Foundation, the Missouri Arts Council, and the Regional Arts Commission is invaluable, necessary to producing the high-quality publication that has always been part of the December's existence. We have a tiny but mighty board of directors whose advice and wisdom have guided every step of this journey. So I want to thank the directors that are here today, Mary Stillman, John Greenberg, and Lainey Becker. We didn't have much in the way of staff at our first event 2 years ago, and I'm not sure that we would have gotten much further than the revival stage without the amazing staff that we've added. Jennifer Goldring has been our managing editor since January, and the range of her skills and abilities is surpassed only by her energy and enthusiasm. Judy Kramer's title is officially business manager, but that's become an umbrella for grant writer, event planner, videographer, and a few other tasks, all of which she handles with finesse and humor. I especially want to thank our panel of senior and associate editors who read submissions for 28 weeks a year, mostly sitting kind of in that cluster, and whose sensibilities and insights not only shape much of our content, but who also provide the basis for the feedback we give to countless writers whose work we decline. Some of our editors live outside of St. Louis, but most are local and here, so I want to thank our poetry editor, Jen Tappenden, our senior editor, Ron Austin, who's also doing contributor interviews for our website, so check that out, and Rita Chapman, Matt Freeman, Ray Holmes, Katie Anike, Jason McCancy, Carol Niederlander, Angela Mitchell-Phillips, Kelly Moffitt, Sarah Pitt, Sarah Ross, Meg Schinkel, Mirta Vida, and Amanda Wynn. Our thank yous would hardly be complete without an enormous voice of gratitude to Buzz Spector, our art editor extraordinaire, whose selections of art and artists demonstrates our recognition that images and words are inextricable companions when it comes to self-expression. And finally, and at the risk of sounding like I'm at the Academy Awards, I'd like to thank my family for their support. My husband Todd has been an unflinching partner, and there have been occasional causes for flinch. All of my children, especially my daughter Abby, who's been working on our development efforts this year and is at our subscription table today, and my mom, Terry Jacobson, who's been the best advocate a literary venture could ask for. And now, about today. We'll talk in just a little bit some more about why we're here at Jazz at the Bistro, what the deal is with jazz and poetry. But first and foremost, this is a celebration of volume 26.2, and especially a chance for us to recognize our St. Louis contributors. Our commitment as a publication based here is that every issue will include at least one St. Louis artist or writer. We don't really have to go out of our way to make that happen. It happens organically. And thanks to the talent we have here in St. Louis, we've actually published the work of 15 St. Louisans in 5 issues. When we first moved December to St. Louis from Chicago, the first thing I did was to find everyone I could find in St. Louis who had been involved in literary publishing and asked them to sit down with me for a conversation so I could start learning. And one of the first people I called was Jeff Hamilton. I'd been aware of Jeff as the editor of Del Mar, the magazine he co-founded, and with which most poets in St. Louis are familiar. But Jeff and I didn't really connect until after we'd gotten the revival issue out. But he'd been familiar to me already, and no wonder. Del Mar played a significant role in the St. Louis poetry scene for 15 years, and Jeff's poems have appeared in Fence, Pleiades, the Chicago Review, Natural Bridge, and plenty of other places. And he's almost as well known for his essays and his academic writing. When Jeff and I did finally connect a little over a year ago on a panel he was moderating, he struck me as a deliberate, thoughtful, and detail-conscious person. He waited a moment before responding to questions or other people's comments, as if he was forming complete and articulate answers in his head before the words came out of his mouth. So, I wasn't surprised when Jeff sent us a couple of poems not long after that we saw that same precision, that same attention to detail in his work. Not many people have gotten their copies of volume 26.2 yet. We had a little hiccup with the U.S. Postal Service, but I gave a couple of copies away last week at a workshop on arts funding, and the next day I got an email from the workshop leader saying, "Thanks for the new issue. I just read the poem Empathy, and wow." So we're really excited and proud to have Jeff Hamilton's work in December, and just as excited that he was willing to read here today so that we can all have the opportunity to say wow. Jeff?